Hi all, if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira, and today guys, we are going to talk about all of the sort of boring, unsung heroes of my beauty routine and beauty collection. These are the products that you don't really see or hear people talking about very often. The parts of your routine that you just use and you don't think about, or some things I just never use on camera, so they don't come up. But I wanted to mention them because these are sort of the things that are staples outside of like foundation and eyeshadow and, lipstick and those type of things. But these are products that I reach for on a daily to weekly basis that I never really talk about. So let's get into it. So first off, I want to talk about makeup brush cleaning tools. So I kind of made a promise to myself. I wouldn't say a resolution, I don't like resolutions, but I made a promise to myself that I was going to try to get better at staying on top of washing my brushes in a timely manner. I own a lot of brushes, and I am one of those people who can go a really long time without washing brushes because I have so many brushes. But then, as often happens when you do that, is you're then faced with all of your brushes being dirty at once and having no brushes to use because you've waited too long. That was where I was finding myself in this little like cul-de-sac of, poor decision making when it came to washing my makeup brushes. So I promised myself that this year I was going to stay on top of my washing my makeup brushes. I was giving myself like once a week, you're going to wash whatever's been used that's dirty, just wash it. The longest I've gone so far is 2 weeks, which is not bad for me. I still had brushes, but it was pushing it a little bit because even when you have a lot of brushes, you have the stuff that you always reach for, the brushes that are like your go-tos, and those are always dirty for me by the end of the week. So this morning, what did I do? I washed my makeup brushes, and I'm going to show you what I've been using to wash my makeup brushes because it's been a game changer for me. So first up, and I received all three of these in PR, and I don't know why I never tried these on my own because when I got them, I was like, this is making my life so much easier. But I do want to, of course, preface that I did not purchase these myself, but when I run out, I will be repurchasing these myself out of my own money. So first up is the Sigmatic Brush Shampoo Foam, and this is a foaming brush cleaner or cleanser. And you just, wet your brush, you spray it, and you can wash your brushes, and it pulls all of the product out so well, and it doesn't leave like any residue, which is the problem that I've had. It doesn't leave any, it's not scented, so you don't get like a smell of like soap. It just cleans the brushes, and your brushes just look fluffy, clean, don't smell like anything, which is what I need because my skin is quite sensitive, and I didn't necessarily want to have something that had a lot of scent to it. It's great. You just pump. I'll show you here on my hand. It's literally just like a foam, and you apply that to your brush in water, and everything just comes right off. It's super gentle and quick and easy. I washed my makeup brushes this morning, and it took me I was listening to a podcast while I was doing it, and I was doing other things, so it took me probably a little bit longer than normal, but yeah. Next up is the Sigmatic Scrub. Now this has been a true game changer for me. So it looks like this, and then it has a lid and you take it off. And it also has these like little things so you can stick them on your sink or on the wall. And it comes with soap and scrubbies. So the white part is the soap, and all of these are like plastic scrubbies. As you can see, first of all, I broke mine. That's just me being, wild and crazy, and I broke it, but it's usually one solid piece of soap, and then you wet it, and you take your brush, and you just scrub, 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 and this is what I use exclusively for my foundation and concealer brushes because it just pulls, how when you're constantly scrubbing to get down into the deep part of the bristles to pull up any foundation or concealer that are, that have been sort of pushed down into the brush. This pulls it out perfectly. I've used this for natural hair brushes, synthetic brushes. I haven't had any issues. I also use this for my natural hair and my synthetic hair brushes. No problems. And as you can see, I've used so much. It's usually up to here, but I've been using it so regularly that it's almost gone. So I'm going to have to repurchase another one of these, but game changer for foundation brushes. It's cut back on the amount of time that I spend washing my my foundation brushes and really trying to pull all that liquid product that has sort of seeped into the fibers of the brushes. It can be so annoying, and it takes me like one or two, sometimes three full washes of the brush to pull it all out. Whereas with this, it takes me one scrub, 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 rinse, rinse, and I'm done. It's amazing. The other item from Sigma that I've been using is the Sigma Spa Express Brush Cleaning Mat. It's even still a little wet for me to use this morning. This is fantastic. So what I often do is I will apply this to wet my brush. I'll apply the foam cleanser, and then I'll go, and I usually use this part here to clean all of like eyeshadow and powder products. And then you can also use this. This actually works really well for cleaning sponges. You just take the rounder, larger part, and you can scrub sponges. I've done that as well. So yeah, this is just great. And I love that it has all the different, textures for the different types of brushes. So you don't have to necessarily worry about like ruining your brushes. You can pick one that works well for what you need. I really like it. I like having something that I can use to sort of, instead of using my hands, because I was doing that. I was kicking it old school and trying to really scrub my brushes with my hands, and it was one of the reasons why I didn't like washing my brushes. But now that I have these three products, it took me maybe 15 minutes to wash 20 brushes. I don't think that's too bad. I don't think that's bad at all. All right, so next up, another tool that I love and that I use quite often, but I don't think I've ever talked about on this channel, and that is the Nessa Myricks Powder Puff, the Velour Powder Puff. And I have a small one as well. It comes as a duo. So I have the small one, and this is the large one. And what I like to do is because I don't use a lot of powder nowadays. I didn't powder my face at all today. But when I do, I like having a powder puff to sort of, you can use this to really get into smaller areas and to press the powder in. This is really great if you're wearing a really dewy foundation and you really want to press that powder in. And also pressing the powder in keeps it from looking like the powder is sitting on top of your makeup. So having something like this where I can get into those inner corners and just press where I need it, it's perfect. And it's a great way to apply a little bit of powder. You can also do a full, like you can bake with this if you want. If you're somebody who uses a lot of powder, you can definitely do that. It's a velour puff, so you can definitely get a lot of product into it and pat that on the face. I just like to be a little bit more strategic with it. And this is the larger one. I don't use this one as much. The smaller one is dirty. It needs to be washed, which I forgot to do this morning. I'll wash it when I get through this. That's the one piece I forgot. But I tend to use that one more because I tend to like it in the smaller areas, like around here. I don't set my under eyes, but I do set the parameter. If I'm wearing like, darker shadow, I like to set the parameter a little bit, and it kind of just cuts down on any shine where I don't want it. Like I like my face to look glowy, but I don't want it to look glowy in all places. So this is a great way to be strategic about where you're cutting down on glow or shine. But yeah, these are great. I got these, I think, from like Beautylish. I know they sell them. I believe they sell them at Ulta, not Ulta. They sell them at Sephora. They sell them on Beautylish. And I believe they sell them on the Nessa Myricks website. But you get two, and you can get them in this beautiful chocolate color, which I love. And then they have like a beige. But I just feel like this is so pretty. That pretty like deep chocolate brown. I just think it's beautiful. So yeah, I use these quite a bit. Pretty much every week that I'm doing my makeup, I switch between this and my Sigma brush that I use to press powder. And I use them interchangeably depending on the foundation. So this is something, I'm wearing the About Face Beauty foundation right now, and this is something I would probably use instead of the Sigma brush. I would use this one. And if I was wearing something even dewier, I would use the Sigma brush because it's fiber, so it's going to pick up, a lot more product, and I can poof all over the face. But one thing you can also do is to apply your powder with a brush and then just go over those areas to sink it into the skin. You can kind of like tag team it. I didn't realize how much I would like powder puffs until I started getting into them. The first one I was the one from Linda Hallberg, and that one just was like a game changer for me. And I was like, velour powder puffs are amazing. So when that one kind of got a little ratty, it was time to get new ones. I got the Nessa Myricks ones, and they're great. Now let's talk brows. As you know, if you watch my channel for any length of time, you know that I do not do my brows on camera. I refuse to do my brows on camera. I'm sorry, that's just not, I mean, maybe one day I will. I might have done them maybe once or twice. I hated it. I am someone who, I need peace and quiet and serenity when I'm doing my brows. I can't talk. Well, I mean, I can talk. I have to, you know, I can listen, but I can't, I can't focus on filming when I'm doing my brows. It's a process, and it's a process that needs my full attention. I do have my go-to brow products that I reach for on a daily basis and that I repurchase when I run out. And they're all drugstore. As you guys know, I tend to be more bougie a lot of the time with my makeup choices. I'm not anti-drugstore, and I use a lot of drugstore products, surprisingly, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But brow products, I use exclusively drugstore products. And there's two-pronged reason for that. First of all, I think that the drugstore has so many great options for brow products. If you're struggling and you're someone who buys a lot of higher end makeup, and you're struggling trying to find brow products that work for you, go to Ulta. Seriously, go to Ulta, check them out. There's so many great drugstore brow products, but the brands that I have stuck with are two. So first up is L'Oreal, and it is the Brow Stylist Definer Pencil. This is my 5th one of these. The thing that I like about products like these is they're almost always on sale at Ulta, and what I'll often do is buy them in bulk. I'll buy 3 or 4. And I'm set. And this is the last one of the bulk purchase that I made last year. So it's not like something that I have to purchase a lot. And for me, I kind of got tired of spending $20+ for brow pencils that I needed to replace, because this is the product that I use literally the most out of everything in my makeup collection are my brow products, and specifically my brow pencils. So the idea of constantly having to dish out $20 hairs for one pencil, $20+ hairs for a pencil, it was just like, why? Especially when I was able to find something that I really like. So this one is, I guess you could say this one is kind of a dupe for the ABH one. So it's got your little spoolie, and it has the super fine pencil, super fine. And I use this to sort of help shape my brows. My brows, I have brow hair, but it's sparse and my shape is quite sparse. So I have to really sort of build shape as well as add in hair, like add in depth and dimension to my brows to give them some volume and some shape. So this one I use just to give my brows some shape. Sometimes I'll go in, if I'm like rushing, I'll go in to use this to like fluff up the brow, like to create brows, but I really just use this for the parameter of the brows. And then I like to go in with this product, which is the NYX The Brow Glue in dark brown. And honestly, all I've been using recently are these two products together, and that's it. If I'm trying to be extra, I'll go in then with the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen, and I use the shade Ash Brown. I love a good cool toned brown because I find that anything that is too warm will just look orange on me. It'll look red on my brows, and that's not the vibe, that's not the biz. So NYX has really great cool toned, ashy toned browns. So this one is dark brown, and it is a glue. It is goopy. It really gets in there and really fluffs up. It creates volume for me, which is what I need. It just kind of fills everything in. And I've just been using these two as of recently. But when I'm trying to be extra, I will go in with this and help fill in the brow. But I've just been lazy recently, so I've just been using these two and then going in with the pencil and filling in the brow. The other product that I like, and this is great if you just want thicker looking brows. You're not necessarily looking for extreme hold. This one, they're both called glue. So this is the, well, no, it's called Thick It Stick It. So this is from NYX as well. And this is the Thick It Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. And this is in Cool Ash Brown. It looks super light when you take it out. It looks way too light and ashy for me, but it's not once I put it in my brows. And as you can see, it has little, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Let's see. little fibers, if you can see that little, and they look like little hairs. It's actually quite disconcerting when you first open it up. You're like, oh. But if you're looking for something that will give you like super full bushy brows, this will do it. And you can tag team this. This one, I would say go on with a light hand and then go lightly with this if you're trying to get it to stick a little bit more. But these are sort of like things I reach for on occasion. But these are my these are my like real repurchase. This is my second one of these. These last a really long time. You don't need a lot. That's another thing I'll say is go light-handed with that. You do not need a lot of product. You get a lot of product, you got a problem on your hands. You just need a little bit of this. And this is like $11.99. And I believe this is like maybe 10 at the most. Same for this one and I think this one. And I have all of these products, and if I were to purchase these like from like Sephora or from like a higher end brand, I would have maybe 2 products. There I have 4 and they all get used. They're great for creating whatever type of brow situation that I want. I reach for those on a daily basis. The next eye product that I use, and I have talked about this and you guys have seen me use it on camera, but it's not something that I talk about or I think about, and I often forget to put it even in my description box when I put in what's on my face. I forget about this because I just don't think about it. It's just one of those things that is always there that I reach for and that I use. And I love, and I've repurchased, this is my second bottle, and this is the About Face Beauty Smoothing Shadow Fix Eye Primer. I use this before I do my eyes. Every single day if I'm wearing eyeshadow, this is the primer that I use. It is a really great dupe actually for the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I like this better though. I don't know why. I find it to just be a bit, it holds a bit more for me. I don't get with Primer Potion, I find that it dries out quite a bit for me, and it just doesn't give me as smooth of a finish that I like for applying shadow. I think the textures when you first look at them, and even when you look at this, it looks like Primer Potion, and I'll show you. It looks like Primer Potion, and it does have a drier, it can feel like it has a drier formula as it gets older, but it's almost just super light. And I used to be the type of person, I liked a primer that had some pigment to it. I was never like the sheer primer girl, and this has changed my mind. It's one of the reasons why I was never a huge fan of Primer Potion, but this one again has changed my mind. It's grown on me, and it's become the only primer that I really reach for. I have other primers and I've decluttered quite a few because I wasn't using them, but this is just my go-to, and this is I think my second tube of this. I will say if you have oily lids or you are prone to creasing, this is a great option. If you want something that has like that smoothing effect, because it is a smoothing eyeshadow primer. If you want something that has that effect, but doesn't have all of the silicones that can often create more creasing over time, this is a great option for that. If you have oily lids or lids that are prone to creasing when you wear eyeshadow, great option. Next up, let's talk about 2 sprays. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is another drugstore, and I'm realizing now that I'm talking about quite a lot of drugstore products, and it's really funny to me because again, these are products that I just buy and I use and I don't think about it. So next up is, I guess you would call this one a dupe. It is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist, and it is a dupe of the Urban Decay All Nighter. But I like this better. It just, I don't know, it even smells like it. But this one just feels, first of all, the mist is super fine. It's so fine. I oftentimes find myself spraying this and I'll feel like part of my face didn't get wet, so I have to spray it again, but it's fine. It's just that the mist is so light that it didn't feel like anything touched my face, but it did. But I'll do it just to be like, I don't know, let me try it again. That's how fine the mist is. And it's a great option if you're looking for an if you're like me, okay, I'll preface it like this. If you are like me and you're not someone who really uses setting sprays, I am not a setting spray kind of gal. I used to be, back when I wore lots of powder. You know, having a setting spray to help set all that powder and sink it into the skin is important so you don't have that overly powdered look of the powder like sitting on top of your makeup. But if you're like me and you like to use setting spray strategically, and you use it only for specific, you know, days or like specific foundations, you know, I use setting sprays specifically in the summer. I use setting spray specifically when I'm wearing something that is of a dewier finish or glowier finish and I've set it with powder. I go in with this because I'm just adding another layer of protection to make sure that that stays on my skin and it's not sliding all over the place. But also it helps if I've applied extra powder to not look too cakey or not look too makeup-y, you know? So that's why I think this is a good option. If you are someone who uses setting spray constantly, this might also still be a good option because you're not going to be spending so much. But I just feel like this is a great option if you don't want to spend a lot of money. You want to have something that does as good of a job as the Urban Decay All-Nighter, but you don't want to spend the money and you don't need a huge bottle. That's the thing, is that I don't need a huge bottle. I've had this bottle forever and I still, I don't know if you can see how much I have left. I've had this bottle forever, but it comes in clutch in the summertime. It comes in clutch. It's such a great makeup setting spray for me in the summer when my skin is just a little bit more, you know, apt to shine and glow, and I need a little bit more help making sure that all of my makeup sort of sits and stays. It's just, and it smells really fresh. You can even see it kind of smell. I mean, it kind of smells like hairspray, but like Urban Decay, it smells like hairspray to me too. But it's also it's just refreshing. It's like a cucumbery smell, you know. I love using this, and I especially love it when it's super hot out and I'm setting my makeup and I spray this on and it always comes out cool. It sits on my desk, but for some reason this always comes out really cool and refreshing. So nice. And another spray that I use, or setting spray that I use, I do not use on my face. I use it exclusively on my eyes, and it's an expensive primer. I'm looking at this after talking about the e.l.f. and I'm like, really, Miriam? But you'll see. So this is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I only use this to spray my brushes when I'm applying metallics and glitters. That's all I use this for. Literally, this is all I use it for. But I use it every day. If I'm using you know, if I'm not using like a one and done shadow, or if I'm using something that's got a little spark, a little glitter, a little shimmer, I'm using this. I'm dipping my brush into the shadow and I'm spraying my brush. When you see me spray my brush on camera and I go, I'm spraying my brush, this is what I'm spraying my brush with. Spray. This is it. I started using this years ago and I stuck with it because some people are like, well, you don't really need setting spray for that. You can wash your brush with water. No. I disagree with that. I actually think it degrades the shadow and I don't feel like it sets. What I like about using this, because it is a setting spray, is that not only does it wet your brush, but it sets the shadow. It sets the shadow, guys, because shadow is a powder. And what does setting spray do? It sets powder. Do you see the genius? So I didn't come up with spraying your brush with setting spray, but I'm just saying, I think there's a specific reason why you should use setting spray if you're using, you know, you're wetting your brush to get the high impact from your metallics and your shimmers and your glitters. If you're gonna wet your brush, if you're not gonna use a glitter glue, use a setting spray. I don't think water is the option. I think water actually degrades the shadow. I really do. So I like using this. It's expensive considering that I only use it for my eyes, but do you see how full this bottle is? I've had this bottle forever. I'm not going to finish this anytime soon. So for me, it's a good investment because it lasts forever. It took me forever to finish my first bottle of this. This is my second bottle. It's going to take me forever to finish this, and then I can repurchase a new one. And I bought this on sale. So, all right, and now let's talk my beloved. I use this. I'm wearing it today. I bought this ages ago because I needed basic eye pencils. I need a good brown. I need a good black. I need a good, I was like, I'm going to get a brown and a black, but I'm going to throw this other one in because it's kind of cool looking, it's brown, but with like a little something to it. And cut to now, and this is what it looks like. I need a new one. The tip of it is cracked. The cap is cracked. and it keeps mushing my pencil in the top. So the top, every time I use it, I have to sharpen it because it just gets decimated at the top of this thing. So I definitely need a new one. It's completely cracked. Like, I need a new one. And this is, if you're, in case you're wondering what this is MAC Teddy. It is the MAC Eye-Kohl crayon pencil in Teddy. And it is a brown with shimmer, like micro shimmer. Like, it's not super shimmery, but it's not a regular brown. And this has been my go-to brown. I have a regular brown MAC that I never use because I found out that Teddy existed and I was like, this is a better option. I've used it in my waterline, and I used it along the edges of my lash line. I like to do a simple wing. I've actually used this on camera, I think once or twice, and I did a soft wing with this. I love using this to create a soft natural wing when I'm just going for a really light look. This has become a go-to staple for me in my everyday makeup because, like I said, my regular makeup, you know, I've said this in other videos, my regular makeup is pretty basic now because I don't really have the time to spend on my makeup like that, like I used to. So I tend to do full makeup when I'm filming, or like if I have the time, or for like special occasions, things like that. But this has made doing my eye makeup really fun and interesting because even though it's a basic pencil with basic color, that little extra shimmer and sparkle just gives it a little something special, and it looks so good on my eyes, so good against my skin. I will be buying another one of these, but this is how much of this I have used. It's ridiculous, but this is, I thought I had lost this once and I high-key almost cried. I was like, what am I gonna do? So yes, I need to re-up on this. This is on its last leg with this stupid cap that's like cracking at every turn. So it's just getting worse and worse. I need to just get a new one, and it's worth the money for me because it's such a staple for me. Now let's talk lips. And I have 3 products here. I don't have a lot, but these 3 products are things that I reach for and have been reaching for a ton. And the first one is my Laneige Lip Slippy Mask. I use this. I started using Laneige Lip Slippy masks years ago, and I would only get the original. I was like, I don't need any fancy scents or flavors. I don't need any of that. And then, not last year, but the year before, I believe, I bought the little discovery kit because I was like, well, it'll be a great way for me to try out the different flavors and scents and see if I like any of them. And I fell in love with Gummy Bear. Okay. And I bought a big one of Gummy Bear, and this has been my go-to. And it doesn't smell like Gummy Bear. It smells like grape candy. It smells like grape candy. And if you know the way grape candy smells delicious. But these last me forever. I mean, this is how much I've used. I've had this thing forever. It's gonna last me a good, you know, like it takes me like a year to get through a jar of this. But this is what I put on my lips every night before bed. I love it. It's a go-to for me. I can't imagine not putting this on my lips at night. Like, no. And then next up are 2 newer products, but they have quickly become staples for me. And the first one is this Nabla Close-Up Lip Shaper Pencil in the shade Nude number 5. So this is what it looks like. Now, if you will recall, Lisa Eldridge just came out with her like sculpting lip pencils, and I was very interested in trying one of them. And then I was like, doesn't Nabla have something very similar? And I was like, well, let me try the Nabla one and see if it's even worth spending the money for the Lisa Eldridge one, because Lisa Eldridge one I think is like almost $30. This one is not cheap. I think it's like 18 or 20. So it's not a cheap product. Nabla is not a drugstore brand, but it is a brand that is, as far as price points go, cheaper than, you know, more affordable than Lisa Eldridge. So I have Nude number 5, and I'm going to just swatch it on my hand for you guys so you can see. It's super creamy. It's like the perfect neutral lip pencil for me. I'm wearing it right now, and I have been wearing this with everything. It's a perfect lip. It does exactly what it says. Like, you find a shade that works for you. Again, like the Lisa Eldridge ones, they have different nudes. This is Nude number 5. You find the one that works for you, and you can just use it to sort of either just line your lips if you're wearing something that's similar in tone, or just to give your lips a little bit more definition, and you can go on with a completely different tone, and it works perfectly. And I have been wearing this and using this with pretty much every lip product I own, and it works with all of them for me, especially since I'm using, like, I tend to wear more neutral tones. It's just like a perfect match. Like, I'm wearing Proper Beauty's Finesse, which is a little more on the yellow undertone, but even with that, with this liner on, it's still perfect, you know? So yeah, this has just become a staple for me, and I use it literally every day. And I'm tempted, I might buy one of the Lisa Eldridge just to compare for science, but if you are not willing to spend that kind of money on the Lisa Eldridge ones, order these from Ulta. They do the same thing. And finally, I have a product that I talked about on my channel, how I was having such a hard time finding an SPF lip balm that didn't taste disgusting, didn't make my lips feel disgusting, and I was having a hard time, and I'd kind of like given up. And I was like, I haven't found anything, whatever. And then I had bought the Sephora Sun Essentials kit, where that you get a kit of like tons of like minis of different brands sunscreens, and I was running low on sunscreen. I'm like, well, this would be a great chance for me to try a bunch of different brands and see how I feel about them. But I wound up getting, I think, 2 or 3 full-size products in that kit. And one of them was the K-Skin Lip Balm, Isle Lip Balm SPF 30. Now, this is what it looks like. It's clear. You get this really soft, it's like really squishy. It's not one of those hard ones. It's like squishy, which I like. And it comes out clear. It smells a little bit like coconut, not a lot, just a little bit. It kind of has that, like, you know, tropical vibe. But what I like about it is, okay, I'll say this. It is not tasteless. I feel like if you really concentrated on it, you could taste a little bit of that SPF-ness, but this is the one that has been the least offensive that I've ever tried, and I've tried a lot. And I've been able to use this, and what I've been loving doing is when I'm looking for a super glossy look, is putting my lipstick on and then applying this over it. And I get that super glossy lip, but I also get like SPF. I've been loving that. And I wear it on its own if I'm just running out. I love that I can put my sunscreen on, you know, my traditional sunscreen on my face, and then I can just pop this on my lips as I'm running out the door. It has been fantastic to finally have found something that works for me, that is great SPF protection, because you are supposed to protect your lips. And I do notice, especially if you are of a deeper skin tone, if you find that your lips are becoming more and more pigmented, which is what I was finding, I think it was because my lips were getting too much sun exposure. So, you know, you're getting hyperpigmentation. So if you are someone who are of a deeper skin tone, or even if you're not, and you're someone who's struggling, maybe getting a little hyperpigmentation in your lips, get a lip balm sunscreen or sunscreen lip balm and try the K-Skin one. I'm actually so shocked by how much I like this, and I've been using it every day. Okay, so that is my list of unsung heroes, like the products, the secret warriors in my collection that I never talk about, that people don't know about, that I use all the time. Let me know in the comments down below, what are some of the products that you use on a daily basis that don't get shine, you know, that aren't like super glamorous or viral, or the thing that everyone's talking about. They're not like the newest splash, you know, but there are things that you repurchase again and again, and that you couldn't get through your, you know, your beauty routine without. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.